Hello, this is Deborah Cohen, and this is a story and a song where I share my music as an indie artist and the story behind it, and also what I happen to be learning in the Torah and things that are heavy on my heart, like today's topic, which will be about this weekend in October 2023 for Solidarity in Israel. So I hope that you are interested in solidarity, Israel, and the Jews. and again, I'm trying to focus. I just moved like this weekend and I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So while I'm trying to do that, I'm going to take a station break. And if you are able to share with me the next 30 minutes in an undistracted environment, even with paper and pen, you may find some interesting items in today's topic. So I will be right back after this brief message. This is Deborah Cohen. I'm writing meaningful music with a message. Spirituality, pop rock music, interfaith music, and sync music for movie, TV, and film. Check out my music, the story behind the song, and share. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. DeborahCohenMusic.com. And today's topic is about Solidarity Shabbat weekend. I am Deborah Cohen, and I hope that you will listen, suspend your judgment, listen to the whole story, and then come to a conclusion, hopefully of congeniality and unity. Now, Shabbat Solidarity Weekend is happening in the United States this weekend, or actually has happened because this is after Shabbat. And I learned some new things that I wanted to share with you. Sometimes I share about my songs and what I was thinking or going through when I wrote the songs. But I learned some really good things this weekend, as I always do when I study the Torah with my synagogue community. And it came to my mind that, unbeknownst to me, this is Solidarity Shabbat weekend. And what is that? It's to show your unwavering solidarity with Israel and the entire Jewish people for Solidarity Shabbat, October 26 through 29. And if you want to share this broadcast on Instagram and use the hashtag Solidarity Shabbat, I would truly appreciate it. They're having some kind of a challenge on Instagram to see who gets the most posts. So humor me and support the Jewish cause of unity. So let's talk about unity in Israel specifically. Many of you know, or hope you all know, there's a war, unfortunately, going on in the state of Israel. And if you watch the media, at least in the States, what you see is a lot of Jews protesting against Jews, which is very confusing. And, like there's music in the United States in my generation, united we stand, divided we fall. Da, 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 da. Stand together, you and I. No, we don't. That doesn't mean we have to agree with each other's beliefs, but we listen to one another and learn about each other for the sake of solidarity to the state of Israel. And the goal in this topic is to restore Israel to its former glory, which needs to have an amended constitution for the state of Israel, according to Rabbi Shai Peron, the former Ministry of Education director in Israel. So I'm sharing some of his instruction that I learned about this weekend on Izzy Studio. So if you would like to know in detail about what Rabbi Shai is proposing, if he were to come back into the Knesset. You can look for Light Unto the Nations. That's the name of the show. Light Unto the Nations. Look for episode 2, and the speaker is Rabbi Shai Peron, and he will give you the details of all of this. But let's talk about more about the subject. And I'm looking at this chat. So the chat is open on twitch.tv/Deborah Cohen Music. And I am looking at that chat. But there's also a chat on my live stream right now in YouTube. The handle on YouTube is at Deborah Cohen Music. No, excuse me. Not that. That's not it. I can't do two things at the same time. Hi, Marty. Shalom, y'all, he says. So let me correct myself, and shalom to you, Marty, in the chat. I'm glad you're here. On YouTube, the handle is Jewish Rock Music. Yes, Jewish rock music. Look for the live stream on YouTube if you want to chat. But nobody's watching the chat there. So come to twitch.tv/Deborah Cohen Music. Okay, so let's get started. All right, this comes from an article in Sefaria.org, and I'm trying to paint a picture for you. So let's listen. This is a paper from the Jewish Communal Affairs Department of the American Jewish Committee. The title of the paper is Unity in Judaism, and it's about Jewish Perspective series, which applies to the insights of the Jewish tradition to contemporary issues. And the issue again is the apparent division between Jews in the state of Israel. We're trying to find a way to correct division. And my own humble opinion is, as a citizen of the United States, I see how very divided our country is, and I tend to say it's because of democracy, because I don't know any history, any country in our past history that has had a democratic, wasn't Rome a democracy? But anyway, they don't last because the people become so divided that, just like the song, they crumble. They can't agree on anything after a while. And you see that in the United States, where everybody's trying to bring everybody to court if you say the wrong word. And, for example, in my generation, Doris Day sang about being gay. I feel pretty, oh so witty. I feel pretty and witty and gay. Well, I'm saying happy, but today, if you say anything bad about gay, it's talking about the LGBT community. So, even our verbiage has changed radically from my generation to today's generation. And the same is with Israel. In the beginning of the inception of the state of Israel, Ben-Gurion coined a phrase called status quo, which worked wonderfully for the beginning founder Jewish people. But today, in Jewish Israel, they don't all agree with the status quo. Oh, Rome was a republic, Marty says. Thank you. Today, according to Rabbi Shai Peron, today's generation needs an amended constitution of the state of Israel, which I'm going to talk about, because the democratic society is so divided, which is why, in part, you're seeing Jews radically protesting against fellow Jews in their own country. This is not a good situation, and having a war in the midst of it. So this is why I'm trying to educate us about what I learned. And Israel now has no constitution, but the independent constitution, loosely termed, was introduced on the show with Rabbi Shai Peron. Sorry, I'm just learning about his name. And he mentioned something about the independence of the state of Israel was their constitution in 1948 in the creation of the country. So let's get back to this article. While previous contributions to the series in Sefaria.org dealt with social and ethical matters of universal concern, this addresses a serious internal problem in this article: the increased polarization among Jewish religious groups. This is a big problem in Israel today. Although Jews have a long history of disputing with each other, the current debate could split the Jewish community irreparably because the very definition of Jewishness is at stake. Intermarriage and divorce have increased rapidly among American Jews. There are hundreds of thousands of children who have been born either to a mixed marriage or to couples in which the non-Jewish spouse's conversion is not recognized by the Orthodox Jews in Israel. 2, the large number of Jewish couples who dissolve their marriages without a get or a Jewish divorce has produced offspring from remarriages who, according to Orthodox and conservative Judaism, may not marry other Jews. Oy vavoy! As a result of these trends, it is conceivable that there will soon be 2 distinct groups of Jews whose members will not marry across group lines. Recently, disputes over these and other matters have become more intense, as I mentioned earlier. Extremists in all the camps have escalated their rhetoric, denouncing each other publicly and creating a confrontational atmosphere that prevents civil and meaningful communication. The American Jewish Committee, believing that the unity and ongoing vitality of the Jewish community supersedes all other considerations, has tried to combat polarization, which means division amongst its own, by encouraging dialogue among the leaders of the different religious streams of Judaism. This process may enable all Jews to reach a consensus on the issues that now divide us. At the very least, it will create an atmosphere of tolerance and mutual respect, enabling Jews to agree to disagree in a spirit of love. To facilitate dialogue and understanding among Jews, we commissioned Dr. Berkovitz to analyze the biblical, Talmudic, and rabbinic sources on Jewish unity. We hope that this extensive, documented, and sensitively written paper will show Jews how high a priority their traditional places on showing respect and consideration for one another, regardless of differences in ideology or practice. And again, this is in Sefaria.org if you want to read the whole document. It's entitled Judaism and Peoplehood. One of the most significant facts about Judaism is that Jewish religion and Jewish people are inseparable, or at least they should be. According to Jewish tradition, Abraham had prophetic qualities. Yet the history of Judaism does not start with the prophet, but with the father, Avraham Avinu. Our father, Abraham. That is how he is referred to through the entire course of Jewish history, and that is the name that will remain with him till the end of days. When God called Abraham to his world historic mission, one of the promises God made to Abraham was, quote, "And I shall make you into a great nation," end quote, which can be found in Bereshit 12:2, or Bereshit means Genesis. Again, when after the sin of the golden calf, God was inclined to destroy that sinful people and asked Moses to accept the task he once entrusted to our father Abraham, God addressed him in almost exactly the same way, quote, "And you, I, God, shall make you into a great nation," says God, according to Exodus 32:10. Immediately prior to the revelation at Sinai, God's message to the children of Israel was, quote, "And you shall be unto me, says God, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation," end quote. The identification of Judaism with Jewish peoplehood is evident in the words of the prophet Isaiah, who quotes God as saying, "This people I have shaped for myself, says God. Let them tell my praise," found in Isaiah 43:51. The medieval philosopher Saadia Gaon summed up this aspect of Jewishness in his statement, quote, "We are a people only through the Torah," end quote. And I love that so much I'm going to say it again. We the Jews, are a people only through the Torah. And that's according to our sage Saadia Gaon. However, that doesn't seem to be what we see today in Israel in 2023, is it? Nothing could be further from the truth to that statement than to see in the interrelatedness of Judaism and peoplehood evidence of particularisms, exclusiveness, or racism. Judaism is not a missionary religion like Christianity. Nothing could be more alien to it than slogans like "compel them to enter" or "baptism or death." You're not going to see that in Judaism. Judaism is obligatory only for Jews and no one else. And with that, I'm going to take a break and let you digest that, and I'll be back with even more after this message.
Amazon banned merch. Amazon.com now helps indie artists by allowing them to post their band merch on their artist profile site. So go to Amazon.com and search for artist Deborah Cohen and DCM merch. Shop for peace. Shop for Hebrew. Shop for Judaica. Shop Deborah Cohen. Music and merch. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShalem.
And I'm Deborah Cohen. We're back, and Marty is saying in the chat, if you've been following, if only we Jewish people could be more agreeable with each other. I agree, Marty, and I'm going to add to that statement by saying as follows, based on this document in Sefaria. According to the prophet Micah, at chapter 4, verse 5, quote, "For all the nations, each one of them shall walk in the name of his God, and we shall walk in the name of the Eternal One, our God, forever," end quote. But no one is automatically excluded because he or she is a stranger. Now, there's a lot of discussion in the Torah about a stranger. Those are the converts. And they don't always get a fair shake with amongst their Jewish brethren and sisterin when they enter, and I can vouch from personal experience. But let's just continue. Anyone who, out of sincere conviction, wishes to convert to Judaism is welcome, whatever his or her race, national origin, or religious and cultural background. And it should not be thrown in the convert's face once they are a converted Jew. The interrelatedness of, let me back up a little bit. The convert is referred to as either Ben or Bat Avraham Avinu. So in my case, I am Bat Avraham Avinu, daughter of our father Abraham, and thus I enter that great people which God promised to Abraham. So if you ask, why am I so happy? Baruch Hashem, I am part of Israel. Baruch Hashem. The interrelatedness of religion and peoplehood is unique to Judaism. So Marty is making a correction. The article states that I am, or if you're a man, it's saying the boy would be, male convert would be Ben Avraham Avinu. And in this article, it says a woman would be a Bat Avraham Avinu, daughter of our father Avraham. Marty's saying that I am a Bat Sarah, and only males are Ben Avraham. So we have two. Here we go. Here is an example of two Jews discussing the context of Judaism, and we don't agree, but we can be civilized about it, right? So thank you for that viewpoint, Marty. Thank you. The interrelatedness of religion and peoplehood is unique to Judaism, whereas other religions focus on the relationship between God and the individual. This is key now. Yes, and Marty says, since we're Jewish, of course we don't agree. And that's what I'm talking about in this program. So very appropriate, Marty. So let's just recapitulate what I was just starting to say. Other religions focus on relationship between God and the individual, but Judaism is the covenantal relationship between God and a people. And that's not what we're seeing in Israel today. They're very, very divided to the point of being hostile. On media, you can see them fighting with each other, protesting for whatever reason. Their reason may be okay, but the method is not. It's not It's not a unity. It's an I generation instead of an us generation, a covenant as a nation with Israel. So what do we need to do to get back to the state of Israel's former glory? That is the question. In the final segment, we're going to mention that right after this message.
And I am getting so much stronger by my Father. He will help me stand in times of trouble. He will show me great and mighty things, for He is Lord. He is Lord. Picked up my Bible.
And this is Deborah Cohen, and I thank you for listening. I really appreciate you chatting in the chat room. Marty, you keep it very interesting and on topic. I appreciate you being here every week. And for anybody else that wants to chat, as long as it's not spam, which I'm seeing some spam here. And how rude is that? Anyway. Okay, so let's talk about Solidarity Shabbat. And this is from the website. Let's see, Maserati. I get the car in my brain. Scratch that. Masorti Solidarity Shabbat.org. And that's about this weekend. So let me expound on what you're looking at if you're looking at this screen live. Our hearts are broken, but our faith is unwavering. And this is their declaration, the Solidarity Shabbat. In these difficult days, we are mourning the deaths of over 1,400 of our Israeli family and many international citizens in the horrific terrorist attacks on Israelis and global citizens on October 7th, 2023. We are advocating and praying for over 200 kidnapped Israelis being held unlawfully by Hamas. It is in these times when we come together to stand in unwavering solidarity with Israel and with all the victims of this terrible attack and ongoing war, to stand unified in the face of hatred and to proclaim our love and pride as Jews and as conservative Masorti Jews. And as Marty mentioned in the chat, Masorti is aka conservative Jews. It's going to take me a few times. That's a new term I saw this weekend, and I kept calling it Maserati. No, it's not Maserati. It's Masorti Jews in the United States. So from Thursday, and this is what this group is proposing, from Thursday, October 26th through October 29th today. So if you're watching this live or on October 29th, this is the final day for you to do what? Members of the conservative Missouri Kehilot, schools, camps, youth programs, Jewish centers, and communities across the globe will gather in solidarity as we come together to mark the third Shabbat since the attacks of October 7, 2023, collectively singing, learning, praying, engaging in person and online. That's what I'm doing right now. Our human chain will connect us to one another across our communities and across the world as we come together united in our unwavering support of Israel. Each of the many partners of the conservative Missouri movement will be sponsoring events at which all members are invited to participate from around the globe. Participants will have access to a repository of curriculum and resources throughout the website, MissouriSolidarityShabbat.org. Everyone will be engaged with thoughtful spiritual and theological reflections across the event. And so let me, in closing, tell you about some broadcasts we saw on the Izzy studio. I mentioned it earlier. Light unto the Nations. Rabbi Shai Perron, I learned about this former Ministry of Education leader, and he is the one that is proposing in the effort of solidarity for the state of Israel, for their 80th birthday present, to grant them an amended constitution, or in Marty's case, he's saying they don't have a constitution, to create a constitution. And what would it look like? The framework of this proposed constitution of Israel, personally, I say we got to reintroduce the Torah, but that's just me. Okay, Rabbi Shai Perron says that today's generation is very polarized, which we can see. We know it's polarized. Jews fighting Jews. We don't want that. Israel, we need to be united. Even if we disagree, we have to stand together as a Jewish people. So what is the proposal? Here it is. 50% of the government of Israel, 50% of the power goes to the state of Israel, because what we've got now is tribes fighting tribes, and they are usurping the power of the government, which we've got a division in the Knesset. It's really crazy over there right now. So here we go. The proposal for 80th birthday for Israel. 50% of the power goes to the state. It governs 50% of the curriculum, the school curriculum, only 50%. Okay, so the state will have various rules. 50% of the power goes and comes from the state itself. 30% of the power is given to the local government. And again, if you want to know the breakdown or what that includes, you'll need to watch the interview on Light unto the Nations, episode number 2 on Izzy, which the guest is Rabbi Shai Perron. And the third part of this proposed constitution, according to Rabbi Shai Perron, is 20% goes to each unique community. 20% goes to each unique community. So there's no need to have all this chaos going on in Israel in a democratic government where it's divided. It's divided. It needs to be, Israel needs to be restored to its former glory. And I am on board with this proposition. 50% of the power to the state, 30% to the local government, and 20% to each unique community in Israel to install, or whatever the word is, to make active the Constitution of Israel for its 80th birthday. And I am on board. If you know of a way that I can get more involved with the creation of this proposal by Rabbi Shai. It's not easy to find on Google. I did an extensive search, and there was nothing about this discussion that I could find on Google, at least in English. So again, go to or do a search for Light Unto the Nations. It's a show on Izzy TV, IZZY, and look for episode 2, Rabbi Shai Perron, and he talks in detail about this proposal. And Marty is saying they'll have to get English subtitles unless they speak Hebrew. Yeah, the English subtitles on Izzy is available because this show, Light Unto the Nations, is in Hebrew. Okay, well, I hope that you glean something from this. And we have a lot of tikkun to do in wherever you are or in Israel. And my heart is in Israel, even though I'm not physically there. I thank you for watching, and I hope that you will join me again every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time for a story and a song. And I'm going to close with Ashrei, which means joy. And you can find my music anywhere. Just do a Google search for Deborah. If you spell my name right, Debra Cohen, Cohen music.com. Shalom to your home.
Ashrei Yoshvei, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Od Yehalelucha, Selah. Ashrei, Ashrei Yoshvei, Yoshvei, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Od Yehalelucha, Selah. I sing for you, for you. I sing for what is holy and is true. I sing for all creation, for life and liberation, every day anew. Ashrei, Ashrei Yoshvei, Yoshvei, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Ashrei Yoshvei V'Teka, Od Yehalelucha, Selah. I sing